As you can tell by my huffing and puffing, the climb has begun. Another beautiful day in the mountains. John and I are here at Red Earth Creek and we're about to do a 3-day hike up into the very popular Haiduk Lake, Whistling Pass, Shadow Lake area. Hopefully you'll join us. This is the track that we've been walking for the past few minutes, and this is an old talc mining road that was built in the 1920s, so 100 years ago. In 1917, park warden Bill Peyto, whom Peyto Lake is named after, filed a claim on the talc deposits at Talc Lake, also known as Natalco Lake. In the late 1920s, the National Talc Company took over the claim. The company built a wagon road to haul the talc down Pharaoh Creek and Red Earth Creek to the CPR rail line in the Bow Valley, a distance of over 20 kilometers. This is Lost Horse Creek campsite. We're going to stop here for a little break on the way back out. Looks like we're coming up on the junction with the Shadow Lake Trail. So Shadow Lake Trail will go off to the right, up through the trees. We're going to continue straight ahead to the Pharaoh Creek campground for tonight. And this is where bicycles are no longer allowed beyond this point. We're coming up on the Warden Patrol cabin here. We've just crossed over Pharaoh Creek and now we're into the Pharaoh Creek Valley. And we're probably about 4 kilometers, about 2.5 miles from the campsite. So this must be the old trail. We hiked this trail, another John actually, and I hiked this in 2019, and we went up this way. I think what happened was this old route probably got washed out and they had to rebuild it, so they went higher. So is that photo op or trail cam? So John and I have just finished what I would call the detour. The trail used to be right along the creek, Pharaoh Creek. Now it goes way up from the creek. It's steep both ways. Doesn't matter which way you go, north or south. But now we're back right along the creek. We have probably 200 or 300 meters to the campsite. So we're done with that detour. And I did a hike in 2020 and I talk about trail building and specifically I talk about this, and lots of fun, not. We have arrived at Pharaoh Creek campsite. So we're just gonna get set up here. I'm gonna take this site here. John's gonna take one behind me in the trees. Getting a little windy here. Not a bad view from here, from the kitchen. So there's 5 tent pads here at Pharaoh Creek campsite. John and I have 2 of them with our 2 tents. And these are the food lockers, so there's 6 food lockers. Nobody else is here, just the 2 of us, so we're each using a food locker. I want to show you this. So I went to open this one. And I look and I went, oh, somebody else is here. And then I thought, wait a minute, there's no other tents here. We're the only people here. And then I had a closer look. This is garbage. And somebody's had a little feast. So pretty sad. Pack it out, folks. We're gonna have some hot chocolate. We're gonna get a game of dice going. This is early September, so the days aren't real long anymore. So we'll call it a night fairly soon, and we'll talk to you in the morning. Well, good morning. It's day 2. We're here at Pharaoh Creek campsite, and we're just breaking down camp. It was a cool night last night. My thermometer on the backpack said -7 when we got up this morning. Here's a nice little meadow that we're walking through right now. Haiduk Lake campsite is about 1 kilometer ahead, and we just crossed over Pharaoh Creek back there over a bridge. We are just arriving at Haiduk Lake campsite. We're going to take a break here just for a snack, and then we will continue. And in a few minutes, we will head up over Whistling Pass, way up there. As you can tell by my huffing and puffing, the climb has begun. This is the climb to Whistling Pass. Heck of a view from up here. We're way into the climb up Whistling Pass, maybe halfway up. That is Haiduk Lake down below. So we're about 2/3 of the way up the climb up Whistling Pass. Just taking a real quick breather. And this continues for us. This is the last of the climb up to Whistling Pass. And we're going up there. Here's a few of what we like to call the hippies on a stick. Well, we're starting to break out into the open. Got a little ways left off to the right. Not quite a tree line yet, but getting there. This is the last of our climb to Whistling Pass. The wind is howling up here, and it is cool. Jacket time pretty quick. Time for lunch. And this is Whistling Pass. Whistling Pass is named after the marmots, the resident population here, so they whistle their warnings to their companions. There's also pikas up here. And we have found a nice spot for lunch, so we're gonna hang here for a few minutes. This is the high point of the hike. It is literally downhill the rest of the way, so that is very nice. We like that. Well, we're just about to head down from Whistling Pass. You can see the trail down below. It's 8 degrees Celsius here, so not real warm, but the view is worth it. There's a neat rock face up here above us to the left, and it's neat to see the trees scattered about and finding their own place in the ledges there. Pretty harsh environment up here. We're just passing through a stand of larches right now, and they are just starting to turn yellow. So we're a little early September's a little bit early for them to turn. We've arrived at Haiduk Lake, or Haiduk Lake. Not sure how you say that, Haiduk. So we're going to skirt the right edge of the lake, the east edge of the lake, and then we're going to end up going down to the right to Shadow Lake. This is our last good view of the lake. And we came down from up there, Whistling Pass. We're just taking a 10-minute break here at Ball Pass Junction campsite, and then we're going to continue on to Shadow Lake. I camped here in 2020 on a hike from Vista Lake to the Flow Lake trailhead parking lot, and the next morning out of here went up to Ball Pass. There's our first glimpse of Shadow Lake, and the trail is going to skirt the side of the lake, and then we'll head around the end on a boardwalk, and then we'll have about 1 kilometer to the campground. This is Shadow Lake. That's Mount Ball at the far end, and Shadow Lake Lodge and the campsite are only about 1 kilometer away. There's some lodge guests over there on the boardwalk. So we're just taking a quick 10-minute break, and then we'll finish off the day's walk down to the campsite. This is the Shadow Lake Lodge complex. We've got a couple 100 meters to go, and then we'll be at camp. We have arrived. So time to set up camp and get some dinner. So this is camp for tonight at Shadow Lake. It was a good walk today, and arguably the best part of what's known as the Highline Trail over Whistling Pass, so pretty nice. The southern section of the Highline Trail, Sunshine to Highway 93, is very popular and in good condition. Beyond Egypt Lake, it leads through Whistling Valley down to Shadow Lake, and then north over Gibbon Pass to Arnica Lake and Vista Lake before emerging onto Highway 93. Good morning, it's day 3. We're just about to head out. We're all packed up here. And we had a wet night. Rained off and on through the night. I don't think real heavy. It always seems heavier when you're inside the tent. Some nice tent pads here at Shadow Lake campsite. So we've got 12 and a half, 13 kilometers, so we should be down and out to the parking lot in a reasonable time. It's just after 9 this morning. There's a little bit of snow up there. Fortunately, it didn't snow last night down here. So thank you to whoever built the boardwalk. Unfortunately, it's icy this morning, so this is pretty tricky walking. We're actually walking on the sideboards. They're not quite as bad. No wipeouts yet. So we've arrived at the trail junction to where we came in. This was into Pharaoh Creek. And this is where we're going. Beautiful day. Well, we're back at Lost Horse Creek campsite, and we're just going to take a short break here. We have about 7 kilometers left down to the parking lot on the Trans-Canada Highway. So I thought it was time for a joke. A frog goes into a bank to get a loan. The frog goes up to the teller, and she's got a little name tag on, and her name is Mrs. Whack. "Can I help you?" says the teller. The frog says, "Well, can I get a loan?" "Well, what's your name?" "My name's Kermit," says the frog. "Well, you're not Kermit the Frog," says the teller. No, says the frog. "I was named after him. My name's Kermit Jagger. My father is Mick Jagger, and my mom's a frog. Anyways, I want a loan for a lily pad." "Well, do you have any collateral?" asked the teller. "Well, all I have is this," says the frog, and he pulls out this tiny, shiny little pink elephant. So the teller, Mrs. Whack, her name's Patty, she looks at it and she says, "Well, I don't think this is much collateral, but I'll take it and I'll go see the bank manager. I'll be right back." So she goes to the bank manager and she says to him, "There's a frog out there and his name's Kermit Jagger. His dad is supposedly Mick Jagger, and he has this little thing. I have no idea what it is. Do you know what it is?" And the bank manager has a real close look at it, and he says to her, "It's a knick-knack, Patty Whack. Give the frog a loan. His old man's a rolling stone." This is typical of the road that we're walking out. So fairly gradual down, nothing really steep. Nice easy walk. John and I have talked about this hike being kind of a warm-up to next week. Next week, 5 of us are hiking section D of the Great Divide Trail. So we're going to go from Takakaw Falls up to Mastea Canyon. And we're looking at probably 4 nights, maybe 5. We'll see how it goes. excited to do that one. But yeah, this is a nice hike. It's a nice loop hike for you if you want to do it. In and out from Red Earth Creek parking lot on the Trans-Canada. And there's all kinds of great day hiking options too if you want to base camp out of Shadow Lake Campground or Ball Pass Junction Campground. Lots of good choices. We're nearing the parking lot at Red Earth Creek trailhead on the Trans-Canada. It's been a great hike. Thanks for hiking along with us. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you did, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Can I help you, says the town. Can I help you, asked the frog. Take 3. I think this is going to be about 10. My name's Kermit the Frog. I could probably do it all in one without looking at the notes. Was that 10 takes?
Pretty close.